What is it?
Good evening, everybody. We'll be starting in a minute. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good evening, guys. So before we start, I hope I am audible. You can put a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah. Okay. I assume most of you can hear me. Thank you. So before we start, we have a few instructions that we are giving. So we would request you to kindly mute your microphone throughout the entire webinar. When it's the time of Q&A, we will be, you can raise your hands. So for queries or comments or anything, you can use the chat box, or you can raise your hand using the raise hand option. Also, for if you witness any technical difficulties or if you want any technical support, you can definitely message in the chat box. And if you are viewing from a phone, or in case there is some issue, to see the presentation in full screen, we recommend you to use the side-by-side option. Also, this session will be recorded and the live streaming of this will be available on YouTube. Certificates for this webinar will be provided on filling up of the feedback form, which will be given at the end of the webinar. You can see the instructions in the chat box too, in case you've missed out. Thank you. Starting. Good evening, guys. A very warm welcome to our dear speaker of the day, Lieutenant Colonel Hemant. And we will also be having our speaker joining us later, which is Subedar Ranjan Cariappa. And I welcome all our dear participants. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's a Monday evening and most of you would have left work or left college and would be still tired, but I really appreciate your presence for this webinar. So today we will be focusing mainly about the inclusion of children and people with disabilities in the field of sports. So Fourth Way Foundation. So before I begin, I would like to give a brief introduction about our organization and about our projects. Fourth Way Foundation is a 16-year-old non-governmental organization that is working to catalyze social change by innovating and piloting model solutions. Now, this has been used by governments and a lot of implementing agencies who have been replicating these using our technical knowledge, our in-depth understanding of the challenges and unique insights which we have gleaned over our years of over 2 decades of work. Now, Fourth Way Foundation has got 2 projects, which is Project Schools Where All Belong and Project Vanda. Now, Project Vanda is a Kerala-based project which empowers teenagers and young adults to say no to substance abuse through its prevention-focused programs and helps them make responsible choices using a range of well-planned initiatives, which has been recognized by the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime, UNODC, as the best practice for evidence-based intervention. Fourth Way Foundation's inclusive education program, which is Schools Where All Belong, it considers the neighborhood school as a space where no child is denied the right to education and all students learn together. Now, this project has been very effective in espousing the importance of inclusive education in government schools across the state of Karnataka. This project has also been a prime mover in ensuring that all the laws, regulations, and policies with regard to the education of children with disabilities are implemented. This project has also been able to impact the lives of over 60,000 children through in 14 districts of Karnataka through our awareness education and school enrollment programs. Over to you, Claire.
Before we begin, I would like to give a brief introduction of why we are doing this webinar. Our built environments, our policies, and even our attitudes make very little room for human needs and variations, and are modeled on bodies that are deemed capable and fit, intelligent, or perfect. We tend to overlook the needs of children and people with disabilities and assume things on their behalf. Inclusion aims to create where everyone feels welcomed and valued for this. We need to be accommodative. But unfortunately, in our society, the most often are left behind. One reason is that people feel that they are delicate because of their disability, and the other reason is that society ignores them completely because of their disability. We can achieve the goal of inclusion when they feel that they are included and their difference is appreciated. Sports is one of the best methods to socialize, develop a feeling of belonging, integrate into the society, and overcome feelings of loneliness. Sports instills inner discipline, a healthy competitive spirit within oneself, and a companionship with teammates. And it is undeniable that sports improve physical strength, endurance, social integration, and psychological well-being. Sport is becoming more popular as a treatment option in addition to traditional physical therapy. Fourth Way Foundation believes in bringing the gap in system and removing the barriers which hinder the progress of children with disabilities. Fourth Way Foundation also believes in giving the children an opportunity to live a life with dignity. To introduce the speaker, I would like Akshita to speak.
Thank you, Claire. So without further ado, I will now welcome the speaker of the day, Lieutenant Colonel Hemant Raj. Lieutenant Colonel Hemant Raj initiated his formal education at Sainik School, Karakutam in Trivandrum on a meritorious selection. Along with academics, Lieutenant Colonel Hemant was passionate about sports, and he was also the sports school captain, and he has also been selected for junior nationals in volleyball. He was also selected in the school hockey, volleyball, as well as the cricket team. He has represented the state of Kerala in the National Hockey Championship in Vizag. In 2018, Lieutenant Colonel Hemant was hailed by national media and people of Kerala as the hero in the flood-hit Kerala, where he volunteered to coordinate the combined rescue operations by the defense forces in Aluva and Chenganur in Kerala. He was decorated with the Vishisht Seva Medal by the President of India on January 26, 2019, for the operations carried out during the rescue mission. Lieutenant Colonel Hemant Raj is the sports officer in the Madras Regiment of the Indian Army. He is also part of the Mission Olympics wing of the Indian Army. Over to you, sir.
Hi, good evening, all of you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And firstly, it's not about the profession or anything that I would be interacting with you all. Throughout my life, I've always been a sportsman myself. And the initial speaker spoke about what sports can do. In fact, I would like to just have a word regarding the cricket match yesterday, which was fought between India and Pakistan. That's the beauty of sports. Two countries fighting it out since so many years, no solution. And each and every time a match is played on the ground, they fight it out. And of course, an outcome is there. And after the match, they all hug each other. They're friends. That's what sports can do to certain aspects in life, which doesn't have any other solution. So without any introduction, I'll exactly come to the point what I would like to talk. Firstly, Indian Army has got the most disabled people as a group in the country. By the nature of our job and also the terrain that we operate in, most of us comes back with a disability. It can be so-called mine injuries, blast, and so many other things, so many amputees around us. So I have a real life scenario in which I have compared people with disabilities and the so-called fit people in a live or my own personal experience. So I, being a sportsman myself, taken a lot of interest in the sports in Indian Army. So when I speak about sports in Indian Army, the first name that would come to my mind and all of yours would be about Neeraj Chopra. It took the Army to get the first Olympic gold medalist in athletics for our country after 75 years. So if people consider that as an achievement, I take it as a failure. It took 75 years for us to get a first Olympic medal. So firstly, if people expect individuals with disability to get you an Olympic gold medalist, just imagine how far actually we are thinking about. But my point is that people with disability is always considered as in a stigma. We actually talk about them with a stigma. But for me, I've always been very close to them in this field of sports. So certain aspect that I have realized is that the most important aspect a sportsman has to have is mental toughness. The second most important aspect that a sportsman has to have is concentration and dedication. These days, when I'm working with sportsmen, I'm working with international level athletes, national level athletes. All these people like Aruki Rajiv, Irfan Keti, Jensen Johnson, they're all my boys. We all train together in our ground. The difference between a class elite athlete and any other sportsman is their concentration, their dedication. In this present scenario, in this world, right now, in what exactly the distraction that they have is their mobile phones and the so-called world of internet and TV, which they get distracted to. And also the involvement of certain other aspects like drugs and many other so-called social activities that they have. So the first comparison that I would like to bring across to you with my own personal experiences, the people with disability, they have much more concentration towards their goals. The major aspect of pulling out somebody from something else and putting them into the ground is negated in the very first thought. They don't have anything else to do. For example, an amputee on a wheelchair is actually looking forward for something to do in life. But a person who is completely fit has got n number of opportunities outside. So I would use the word channelize. It's all about channelizing someone's energy. So I believe when I spoke to Akshita, when I got to know about your organization and the projects that you're doing, I was really, in fact, I was shocked. I never knew that there are people who are looking forward exactly for such kind of activities. So when I spoke about concentration, the next aspect is something called as dedication. It's very easy to start. In fact, there are so many people who comes, so many children who comes to our ground. Sir, we would like to start sports. We would like to do this. I could, or we can see their enthusiasm or dedication for the first few days, the first week, the first month. But again, the aspect of distraction comes to their mind. But I've always seen that anyone who comes to us with disabilities, they're much more dedicated because you're actually giving them a chance to do something in life. So the major aspect of when I spoke about concentration and when I spoke about the dedication and the continuity, you speak to any athlete, it's all about dedication and their continuity in practice. I have never found a person with disability coming late for practice till date. In fact, they're always 10, 15 minutes earlier because they know the value of time. Because you know what, I've always felt that they're just waiting for the time to enter the ground. For them, that ground is given their life. For them, it's all about life. So when I spoke about the initial cricket match between India and Pakistan, so you imagine a sports stadium with a lot of people from different states, different languages coming together. Just see the opportunity of that person with disability rather than sitting at their home or rather than looking into their laptops and studying, is able to interact with so many people in the same ground. So the world has been like opened up for them. That is this third aspect that I found. I would be only speaking about the positive aspects because I have only found positive aspects in disabled sportsmen. So the third thing that I found is the world opening up in front of them. They're like they're talking to. It's not just the athletes. Just imagine each and every athlete would have a coach, a trainer. That disabled sportsman coming to the ground looks up to each and every one of them, goes up to them, interacts with them. They ask, like anyone, any trainer would love people coming up, talking to them, getting to know things. So I have always felt individuals with disability have always been like so much enthusiastic about certain things. They don't leave these people, they just go behind. And for them, there is no difference between a person like PT Usha or anyone else. For them, it's all the same. So I've seen, like, I don't know how many of you have heard about Bhatia coach. He's presently one of the senior most athletics coach in our country. He's a coach of Jensen Johnson. So Jensen Johnson is an elite athlete. He's a 1500, 800 meter national record holder. He comes to us for practice every day. He's an army man, morning and evening. So once Bhatia coach joins him, I saw n number of sportsmen with disabilities walking up to him, interacting with him, talking to him. And I could feel the change in the coach itself. So the third aspect that I spoke is the most important aspect. You can't tell them to come outside to the world through mobiles or internet. It's only on the ground, outside, where they walk up. The fourth aspect, for a normal sportsman like me, the aim was always about nationals, internationals, medals, gold medal, national medal, Asian medals, Olympic medal. And I considered myself as a complete failure because I couldn't reach Olympics. I was like a failure. I'm a complete failure. My dream was to become an Olympic medalist. So the fourth difference, which I always talk about with my own personal experience, is that a person with disability, even coming first in a school or college or in his local ground, will be much more happier and elevated than a normal person getting an Olympic gold medalist. Because for him, the first major aspect of breaking the barrier of even participating in that event is a big thing. So recently, with an example, recently it was in 2019, before pre-COVID, the Calicut half marathon was conducted by the IAM Calicut. They invited me as a guest for that. So along with me, I took a boy of mine. He's a right leg amputee, completely amputated right leg. We participated. In fact, around 3,000, 4,000 individuals participated in the marathon. But 90% of them chose to run for the Run for Fun event, in which it was just 3 kilometers. Only 10% of them could participate in the 21.5 kilometer half marathon race. Only those people who were elite sportsmen could compete in that. And out of that, very few of them finished even the 3 kilometer. I could see sort of a lot of people dropping out from the 3 kilometer run for fun even. But this boy who came along with me from Delhi, he completed this 21.5 kilometer half marathon race. And I would like, in fact, I can't even explain it. He completed, in fact, after 2 hours, 2.5 hours, the applause he received, the way he was treated by everyone there once he completed, made those people, 90% of those people, ashamed that they couldn't even run or compete 3 kilometers. So that is the kind of difference one person could make in that entire event to all the other so-called self-proclaimed completely fit individuals. So the fifth aspect that I would be talking about, in fact, I would use the word use. I use these people, this person, the sportsman with disability to motivate the so-called fit people and to tell them, guys, girls, I'm sorry, you're not actually fit. These people are much more fitter than you. And there, I would say there are many sportsmen with disability who actually comes ahead of those people. It's a fact, because they don't have any kind of pressure with them. Sports is all about pressure. Being a sportsman myself, I can completely vouch for it. Sports is all about handling pressure. In fact, any one of you would have taken part in a sports event would know what exactly pressure in sports means. You might practice, but that kind of the belly that you have once you enter in a sports ground on the final day is all about handling your mind. It's all about handling the pressure that you have here. So the sixth aspect that I always found with people with disability is that they're much more mentally strong, because throughout their life, they would have been harassed by the society so much that they are like, these sports and these things are very, very piddly small things for them to handle. So they're much more mentally strong to handle such kind of events than the so-called fit people. So with all these things, in fact, I was given very short time to talk. Give her this. In fact, this topic you talk about for 1 hour, 2 hours. It's so much. So I just thought, rather than giving so-called bookish statements and all these things, I would rather put across my own personal experience. The end statement that I would like to make with all my experience is that it's more about anything and everything requires guidance. So I believe you people listening to me right now are going to be those people who are going on ground and actually going to find out the talent or talk to them, interact with them. So I would like to give you certain practical tips to how to interact with them or find out the talent in them. The first aspect is that you people should get in touch with local coaches. Each and every village in India has got a local coach. He might not be of international standard, or he might not be a national acclaimed sportsman or a coach. But each and every international sportsman always starts with his local coach. For example, Sachin Tendulkar started off with Acharikar sir. Similar way, P.T. Usha, she started off with a school teacher who was a sports teacher in a school. Later, they might shift on to international coaches. But the talent is identified by the local sports trainer in every village. So the first aspect that you people should do, or I recommend you people to do, is go and interact with those local coaches, get in touch with them, take down their phone numbers, and your job would be basically to connect these people with disability with the local coaches. Because those local coaches, by looking at them, or by looking at their physique or looking at their activities, would be able to guide those people or guide you on which sports and what specifically these people can do. So you people right now who are going to be social workers can be the bridge between a disabled person and his way or life of sports. The second aspect that you people can do is just by talking about sports or giving examples of sports person and how, in fact, you will find n number of examples in sports where you found out that each and every sportsman was always from a very, very poor or very, very backward place in the society. You name any athlete in the world, anyone who follows NBA, LeBron James, just look where he came from. Okay, leave aside LeBron. I would talk about my own boy, ROK Rajiv. I don't know how many of you have heard about him. He's an Arjuna awardee. He's from Tamil Nadu. He's the present 400 meter, one of the members who broke the Asian 400 meter relay record this time in Olympics. He's a 3-time Olympian. He's an Arjuna awardee. He's my boy. When we conduct selection trials, we select boys based on their performance. And after that, we have a small interview kind of thing. And to find out about the background, this boy, ROK Rajiv, he walked up to me during the interview and he just told me one simple statement. He just told, "Saab, mujhe bas 2 time khana de do, main kuch bhi karunga." In Tamil. He never knew any other language, nothing. He just told, just give me food 2 times a day. I'll do whatever you say on the ground. So the word that I use there is fire. So any athlete who is risen, including Neeraj Chopra, including ROK Rajiv, Irfan Kedi, these people are all my boys. I can very well talk about them because it's my personal experience. They're all from very, very poor background. Recently, those 2 boys, the Commonwealth Games, entire country hailed them. Abu Bakr, Eldos Paul, they're also from the defense services. They're also from very poor backgrounds. So what made them reach this level is all because of the fire that they had from within. The fire for them was what? Food. 2 times a day, 3 times a day, food for them and their families. So that fire is what made them reach this level. So now you imagine a person with or anyone with disability would have much more fire in them to do something better. So you people can ignite that fire in them by talking about sports and catching hold of their hands, pulling them out of their shell and putting them into the right people's hand. The second aspect of sports is that when I spoke initially about like me, my aim was to win the Olympic gold. For them, sports is not about winning any medal, not even in school or not even in their village. For them, it is not about winning a medal. They are coming first, second, or third. For them, sports is going to be the medium for which they can realize their own potential. It can be the beginning of their realization that I can also do something. Something is the word, something. 90% of the people with disability actually feel that they can't do anything. And especially, I would talk about women with disability. Almost like right now in our country, a fully fit lady faces a lot of discrimination. They're pulled down always when we spoke about women empowerment. Now you imagine a lady with disability. Double, triple times they are pulled down always. In their own society, in their own community. So for them, sports can be the stepping stone for anything where they actually can get to know what exactly their own potential is. Because the major aspect of the advantage that a person with disability has in sports is that their competition is very, very, very limited. I had to participate or I had to compete with the entire population of the world to at least come forward to get a national medal. But you imagine a person with disability, their competition is very, very limited because they're very lesser in numbers. So for them to reach a district level, state level is, I would say, very, very easy. Easy in the sense, if they get the right amount of push or if they reach the right person, it's very, very easy for them to get a state medal, I would say. And of course, a right amount of nutrition and coaching would get them a national medal for sure. So my appeal to all of you, everyone associated with this project, is to find out at least one person. You don't have to make them an Olympic medalist. You don't have to make them a state medalist, anything. To catch hold of them. get them connected with a good coach. Good coach is anyone who knows about coaching, little bit. Just get them connected and follow it up. Keep following it up. That's it. If you can do that much, I believe this organization can, in fact, make the change that most of those people who talk about all these things all over the place, just talking. I would say it's easy to talk. Each and everyone whom I come across gives a lot of talks. Okay, we can do that. We'll do this. We will do that. This, that. Then the presentations, the flashy stuff, the English that they use. Sorry, no, that's not going to make any difference. Physically catch hold of someone, get that person connected with a coach, make them understand their potential. Just let them to the ground. Get them to the ground for one day. Just get those people to a sport ground for one day. The next day onwards, they'll come there themselves. So that's actually the biggest help or support that you people can give to them. And whatever I spoke today was all my personal experience and those things that we as an organization and also as an individual, I am doing all around my place. It's all, nothing was taken from any Google or any kind of slides or anything. It was all, I've not prepared. You'd have heard my speech was not at all structured. I just spoke from my heart with my own experience. And on conclusion, I would like to just make a statement which, for whatever your project or anyone personally, I would be there to support you all with any aspect related to sports and also people with disability, getting them connected to sports. From my side, whatever help I can do, I'll be always, in fact, it would be my duty to be of your support and guidance for each and every small aspect also. And finally, I would like to thank this organization for inviting me for a small, in fact, sharing my experience. And it was actually, I consider this as my duty. So immediately I had obliged to what Akshita had requested me. And thank you so much for listening to me. And thank you, Akshita, for getting me connected with all these wonderful people. When I use the word wonderful, because at least these people have that kind of a mindset or willingness to at least come across to do something for these people. Because you know what, the statement I made earlier, it's very easy to talk, but it's very difficult to take the step outside, do something for them. So best of luck, all of you, and do well. You people are doing something really great, which many, when I use the word many, who actually don't even think about doing. So once again, thank you so much for the organization, and thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I mean, it was indeed, what to say, everything. You've just covered everything. You've spoken with such intensity, because you said, you were talking from your heart, and how much, I'm sure a lot of people have now realized how important sports, to involve people and children with disability in sports, and how much difference it can make in their lives. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us that insight. Like you said, we would love to collaborate with you for our future events. Thank you so much, sir. We now move on to our next speaker, who is Subedar Ranjan Cariappa. So Subedar Ranjan Cariappa, he hails from Coorg, from the state of Karnataka. And he has always been passionate about playing sports since his early days. And after joining the Madras Regiment of the Indian Army in 2004, he was a part of various state and national sport events where he has won various accolades in hockey, handball, and athletics. Subedar Ranjan Cariappa is a middle and long distance athletics coach. His journey of coaching athletes for numerous state and national events started while he was at the Madras Regiment Center, Wellington in Ooty. Currently, he is the athletic coach at the Army Sports Institute in Pune. We welcome you, sir. Over to you. Hello, sir. I hope you're audible. Sir, आप mute पे हो, sir. Hello, Ranjan sir. We'll just give sir a few minutes. I think he's having some issues at his end. Sir, क्या अभी आप hello sir.
Hello.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, no.
हाँ सर, आप अभी आप क्लियर हो सर, अभी आप सुन सकते हैं।
तो डिस्टर्ब तो बारिश भी आ रहा था, थोड़ा डिस्टर्ब हो गया।
Sure, sure. Yes sir, you can start the sessions.
Okay. बात कर सकते हैं ना, स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं ना।
हाँ सर बिल्कुल।
थोड़ा डिस्टर्ब हो गया, मैं अभी थोड़ा आया था कॉन्फ्रेंस थोड़ा में।
हम स्टार्ट करने से पहले एक्चुअली रंजन साहब एक्चुअली ग्राउंड में ही था, कोचिंग कर रहा था, मैंने पकड़ के इधर लेके आया, थोड़ा सा हिला हुआ होगा। रंजन करियप्पा एक्चुअली मेरा मद्रास रेजिमेंट का मिडिल डिस्टेंस कोच है, और सब मिलके इनफैक्ट पूरा साउथ इंडिया में कर्नाटका केरला मिलके काफी प्रोजेक्ट्स कर रहे हैं। उसमें से एक प्रोजेक्ट ये भी है कि हम स्पोर्ट्स को लेकर जुवेनाइल होम में पहुंचा केरला, जुवेनाइल होम के स्टूडेंट्स को स्पोर्ट्स के माध्यम से हमने उनको जॉब दिलाने का कोशिश किया। तो साहब और साहब के टीम और हम जाके वहां पे जुवेनाइल होम में उनको सिखाया स्पोर्ट्स, और आर्मी में काफी स्पोर्ट्स का अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, और साहब आपसे बात करेंगे कि सिर्फ आर्मी में नहीं, स्पोर्ट्स का अपॉर्चुनिटीज कहाँ कहाँ है, और इवन विद डिसेबिलिटीज हम कहाँ कहाँ उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज दिला सकता है। साहब आप प्लीज स्टार्ट कर लीजिए।
ओके। मैं अभी साहब ने, रहमान साहब ने बताया था मेरा बारे में। अभी मैं थोड़ा ग्राउंड में था, जस्ट अभी आया था रनिंग करके उधर से। डिसेबिलिटी मतलब अभी हम इसको कहाँ कहाँ, मतलब एक स्पोर्ट्स ऐसा इवेंट है कि कुछ भी मतलब सोच भी नहीं सकता है उसको इस लेवल में पहुंच सकता है, क्योंकि पैरा एथलेट, इवन पैरा एथलेट के बारे में बोलने के लिए क्योंकि घर में बहुत आदमी ऐसे है कि मेरा बच्चे को ऐसा हैंडीकैप हो गया, उसको कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा, ऐसा सोच के उसको घर में रखता है। उसको ये ना एजुकेशन देता है, ना मेंटली फिजिकली कुछ देता नहीं। इसलिए उन लोगों को हम अभी अब ऐसे सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, तो उन लोगों को ऐसे एक मोटिवेशन देना है आप लोगों को। अगर एजुकेशन में भी स्पोर्ट्स में भी इसको, और हम उसको इन्वाइट करते हैं, मतलब उसको डालते हैं, उसको फिजिकली और मेंटली बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाता है, उसको लाइफस्टाइल चेंज होता है सोशल, मतलब सोशल इसमें भी। और वो अभी एग्जांपल हमारा में क्या 93% अभी फीमेल तो आता नहीं है, मतलब हैंडीकैप डिसेबिलिटी वाला हैंडीकैप वाला तो आता नहीं, उसको कुछ माइंड में ऐसा बैठ गया मेरा से कुछ नहीं होगा, मुझसे कुछ नहीं कर सकता है। क्योंकि उन लोगों को हम बाहर जाके लेके आना है, उसको घर में बताना है। ऐसा नहीं है कि आप लोगों को मतलब स्पोर्ट्स में डालेगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली उसको मेंटली और हेल्थ उसमें बहुत इम्प्रूवमेंट होगा। अगर स्पोर्ट्स में उसको अगर अच्छे अच्छे टैलेंट, अच्छे कोच से हमारे पास भी टैलेंट एथलेट है पैरा ओलंपिक्स का, हमारा आर्मी स्पोर्ट्स सिस्टम में, आर्मी के बाहर का भी। इन लोगों को ऐसे है कि एक एक पैर भी नहीं, हाथ भी नहीं, ऐसे टूट गया। उन लोगों को आज का दिन इंटरनेशनल लेवल में मेडल जीत के आया था, एशियन गेम्स ओलंपिक्स तक पहुंचा। और हमारा एग्जाम्पल कर्नाटका भी 2 लड़की है, राधा भी, उसको परसों हमारे एकलव्य अवार्ड मिला था, उसको आंख दिखाई देता है। तो ऐसे ऐसे हम लेके आके उन लोगों को ट्रेनिंग करके उसको टैलेंट को हम आइडेंटिफाई करके उसको स्पोर्ट्स में डाल के, अगर उसको स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छा मतलब उसको टैलेंट पकड़े कौन से इवेंट में डालना, उसको अगर स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छा करेगा तो उसको आगे बहुत हेल्पफुल होगा। और उसका आगे में उसको पब्लिक में सबको साथ मेल जोड़ने के लिए भी उसको एक मौका मिलेगा। उसको माइंड से हर जगह क्यों मैं भी कुछ कर सकता है, सबका मतलब पब्लिक के साथ मेल मिलाप होगा तो एक्टिविटीज कैसे होता है ग्राउंड में। ये नहीं कि घर में हैंडीकैप मतलब हैंडीकैप वाला कुछ नहीं कर सकते, डिसेबल वाला घर में बैठ के अगर उसको घर माँ बाप भी अगर इसको बाहर डालेगा तो उसको कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा, इसको घर में बैठेगा उसको लाइफ पूरा ऐसे रहेगा। अगर हम एक बार मोटिवेशन करके और मैं इसको माँ बाप कभी बोल के नहीं है इन लोगों को स्पोर्ट्स में एजुकेशन में और कहीं ना कहीं एक्टिविटीज में डालेगा तो उसको नेक्स्ट मतलब आने वाले दिन में एक अच्छा एक स्पोर्ट्समैन बनेगा। कहीं भी चीज में इसको एक दिखाने के लिए एक मौका मिलेगा, हाँ मेरे पास भी ऐसा टैलेंट है, मैं भी कुछ कर सकता हूँ करके। और मतलब इसमें बहुत पुअर फैमिली भी रहता है हैंडीकैपल, उसको पता नहीं रहता है कहाँ जाना कैसे क्या करना, हमको कुछ पता नहीं रहता है उन लोगों को। उन लोग बहुत पुअर फैमिली रहते हैं, उसका अगर उससे हम लेके आके उन लोगों को ट्रेन करेगा, उन लोगों को टैलेंट पकड़ के अच्छा मतलब एक स्पोर्ट्समैन बनेगा, उन लोगों को आगे अच्छा अच्छा इवेंट में अगर कॉम्पीट करेगा तो उन लोगों को अच्छा जॉब मिल जाएगा, उसको फैमिली को अच्छा हो जाएगा। फिर वो एक आजकल उसमें क्या हो गया एंड इसमें बहुत मौका है, मतलब चांसेस है स्पोर्ट्स का अच्छा नेशनल लेवल इंटरनेशनल मेडल जीतेगा तो हैंडीकैप वालों को भी जॉब का बहुत फैसिलिटीज है। जॉब मिलेगा तो उन लोगों को फैमिली भी बहुत इंप्रूवमेंट हो जाएगा, उसका भी खुद का भी इंप्रूवमेंट होगा, हेल्पफुल होगा। बहुत बहुत सारे इसमें चीजें से हैंडीकैप में ऐसा नहीं है कि हम से नहीं होगा करके सोच नहीं सकते, सोचने से बहुत कुछ कर सकता है दिमाग में। हम अगर कुछ करना तो कुछ करना सोचने से नहीं होगा, करना है। और इसके लिए मतलब अभी कैसे लोगों को मोटिवेशन करके लेके आ रहे हैं बच्चे लोगों को करना, अलग अलग स्टेट से अभी बोला तो कर्नाटका केरला ऑल ऑफ इंडिया में बहुत लोग ऐसे थोड़ा कुछ बैंड का पे है, बाकी लोगों को कोई बैकग्राउंड सपोर्ट नहीं, उन लोगों को कैसे आना कैसे इसको करना कुछ पता नहीं रहता है इसके बारे में। उन लोगों को हम लेके आके बात करके मोटिवेशन करके लेके आके मोटिवेट करके और एक अच्छा इंसान बन सकते और अच्छा एक कल का दिन अच्छा फ्यूचर बन जाएगा इसको। कल का दिन में और तरह एक मैं भी कुछ कर सकता हूँ देश के लिए, वो भी कर सकता है। एंड और अभी मैं बोला था इसमें क्या आधा सब फीमेल लड़कियों को 93% नहीं आ रहा है, बाकी पूरा ऐसे उन लोगों को थोड़ा पहले निकलने के लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता है लेडीज लोगों को, मतलब फीमेल लोगों को। आजकल हम देख रहे हैं क्योंकि हैंडीकैप में हमारे इंडिया में तो बहुत कम है वो फीमेल 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 स्टूडेंट्स लोग वुमेन वाला, तो उन लोगों के लिए भी बहुत अच्छा एक मोटिवेशन करके हाँ लेके आके उन लोगों को स्पोर्ट्स के बारे में बता के अगर हम उसको ट्रेन करेगा उसके बारे में उसको समझाएगा तो उसको मेंटली फिजिकली तो अच्छा हो जाएगा और आगे के लिए भी अच्छा कर सकते हैं, उसको टैलेंट को पकड़ सकते हैं, उसके बाद उसका अंदर वाला टैलेंट को भी निकल सकता है। मतलब मेरे पास इतना टैलेंट था लेकिन पता नहीं लेके उसके बाद मेरे को अभी पता इतना करने के बाद में इतना टैलेंट है मेरे पास। ऐसा हम सोचना नहीं है कि मेरे से कुछ नहीं होगा, मैं क्या कर रहेगा मेरा, तो मतलब ये क्या हो गया आधा से ज्यादा हमारा इंडिया में क्या हो गया तो हैंडीकैप लोगों को साइड रखता है और इस पे कुछ कर सकता है कुछ नहीं कर सकता है, इन लोगों को साइड में रखना ना स्पोर्ट्स में कई एक्टिविटीज स्पोर्ट्स में एजुकेशन में ये कुछ नहीं कर पाए, उस लोग थोड़ा बाहर हटा के रखता है। ऐसा नहीं है कि उन लोगों को कुछ नहीं कर पाए, ऐसा नहीं, उन लोगों को लेके के उसको मोटिवेट करके उन लोगों को सपोर्ट दे के उन लोगों को हम अच्छे से उन लोगों को बता के उन लोगों को भी हमारे साथ मिंगल करके करेगा तो उन लोगों को ऑटोमेटिकली चेंज हो जाएगा, इसको लाइफ चेंज हो जाएगा, इसको मेंटली स्ट्रेस वो भी निकल जाएगा। अगर उन लोगों को ऐसे रखेगा तो वो सोचते उसे कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा आगे, कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा, फिर ऐसा रहेगा, फिर लाइफ ऐसा निकल जिंदगी पूरा ऐसा निकल जाएगा। इसलिए ये एक ही सोचना है कि हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं। देखिए हमारा अपने ऐसे में अभी पैरा है 4-5 एक मतलब रनर 400 रनर है, लॉन्ग जंपर है, उन लोगों को एक पैर नहीं है, और एक 400 है, वो ओलंपिक्स तक गया, मतलब एशियन मेडलिस्ट है, वो एक एक पैर भी नहीं है, हाथ भी नहीं है। बहुत कुछ ऐसा है लोगों का। मतलब एक मोटिव कैसे है, उन लोगों को भी कहीं टीवी में देख के, अगर टीवी में ओलंपिक्स पैरा ओलंपिक्स हो रहा है, उसको देख के और मेरा पैर भी नहीं, उसको भी पैर नहीं है, वो भी इतना कर सकता, तो मेरा क्यों नहीं कर सकता है, मैं भी कुछ कर सकता है जिंदगी में। अगर उन लोग ऐसे हम अपना मोटिवेट बनना चाहिए, और अगर हम बताते लेके आते हैं उसको, हम साथ अगर काम करेंगे तो उसको अच्छे से हम मोटिवेशन करके, अगर उसको टैलेंट पकड़े, अच्छा स्पोर्ट्स में लड़ करके स्पोर्ट्स करेगा, तो इसको अच्छा को अच्छा आगे के लिए मतलब सपोर्ट मिले तो आगे अच्छा कर सकता है। और इसमें स्पोर्ट्स में भी नहीं, एजुकेशन में भी अच्छा जाने के चांसेस है, क्योंकि अगर एक बार वो स्पोर्ट्स में निकल जाएगा, अगर एक बार और एक फील्ड में आएगा, मतलब हमारा फील्ड में मतलब एथलेटिक कहीं भी एक फील्ड में के अंदर आ जाएगा, तो एक दिन 2 दिन आज देखने से ऑटोमेटिकली वो चेंजेस हो जाएगा, माइंड उसके एक्टिविटीज वो अपना चेंज हो जाएगा, बॉडी से माइंड से। तो अगर उसको मन में लगेगा और भी मैं कुछ करना है, और ऐसा मतलब मेरे से मैं जैसे बहुत लोग ऐसा बैठा, तो मेरा कभी कुछ चांस कर सकते ग्राउंड में, अगर एक बार फील्ड आने से उसको पता चल जाएगा माइंड में, कि ये नहीं है कि घर में उधर इधर बैठ के कुछ नहीं होगा। अगर इंटरेस्ट करके, घर वाले सोचते हैं मेरा बेटा कुछ नहीं कर सकता है, वो ऐसा हो गया, अगर वो स्पोर्ट्स में अगर कहीं जाएगा तो उसको और भी बिगड़ जाएगा, उसको हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा। ऐसा नहीं है कि उसका हेल्थ भी और भी अच्छा हो जाएगा, मेंटली स्ट्रांग हो जाएगा, फिजिकली भी स्ट्रांग हो जाएगा, और सबका सामने उसको टैलेंट भी दिखा सकता है, मैं हूँ कुछ कर सकता है करके। और तो बहुत कुछ चांसेस है, बहुत कुछ मौका मिलेगा। स्पोर्ट्स ऐसे एक फील्ड है कि सबको नहीं कर सकते, अगर आप लोग एक बार उसको अच्छे से मतलब सैक्रिफाइस करना पड़ता है, इसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है सैक्रिफाइस करना, फोकस रखना, इसमें इतना अगर इतना तू कर सकते तो आराम से कर सकता है। और पहले से हमको मेरे से कुछ नहीं होगा करके बैठेगा तो कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा। इसलिए मतलब बहुत क्रिटिकल स्टेज में भी बहुत लोगों को तो बहुत कुछ किया है, अगर हम भी ऐसा करने से आगे तक आगे कुछ मतलब देश के लिए भी कुछ कर सकते हैं। ये नहीं सोचना हम हैंडीकैप पे, हमको जनता ने पब्लिक ने ऐसा बोल रहा है, ये बोल रहा है, हमको कहीं भी जाने से हमको पहले से साइड रखेगा, हम आपसे कुछ नहीं होगा। इसलिए इसलिए ऐसा सोचना नहीं माइंड में। स्पोर्ट्स में अगर आएगा, अगर आपको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं आप लोग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इतना तो करे, तो सपोर्ट देगा, उसका साथ देगा, तो आगे कुछ कर सकते हैं। और इतना अगर अभी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए मैं थैंक यू बोल चाहता हूँ, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सेशन, और मेरे को इनवाइट किए थे इसमें इसमें थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू,
और
थैंक यू। तो सर हमारे यहाँ टीम में बहुत सारे लोग कर्नाटक से है, तो अगर आप कन्नड़ा में उन्हें भी थोड़ा एड्रेस किए तो बहुत अच्छा होगा सर।
हाँ, क्योंकि मेरे को भी अभी मैं बाहर खड़ा हूँ, थोड़ा सॉरी, क्योंकि दिखाई भी नहीं दे रहा, मैं बाहर अभी खड़ा था एयरपोर्ट स्टेशन में, बारिश भी आ रहा था।
हाँ,
बट
कोई बात नहीं सर, कोई बात सर। हाँ
हेलो।
हाँ सर, अगर आप कन्नड़ा में हमारे टीम को थोड़ा एड्रेस कर सकते हैं तो बहुत बड़ी बात होगी।
हाँ,
आई थिंक सर आप बहुत टायर्ड होंगे। हेमंत सर ने भी बहुत
नहीं
अच्छा।
नहीं नहीं, एक बार मैं लाइट में आ जाऊंगा, क्योंकि ये इधर तो मैं
श्योर,
ग्राउंड से सीधा आके लेट हो गया, मैं सॉरी, मैं मेरे को भी ठीक से अगर प्रिपेयर किया तो वही बोल भी नहीं पा रहा था।
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं सर।
अभी आ गया मैं, अभी आ गया ना।
हाँ हाँ सर, अभी। हाँ सर।
स्टार्ट करें।
हाँ हाँ हाँ, बिल्कुल सर।
हाँ, ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ರಂಜನ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ನನ್ನ ನನ್ನ ನೇಟಿವ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಕೂರ್ಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಪ್ಲೇಯರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಆರ್ಮಿ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಅಥ್ಲೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್, ಆರ್ಮಿ ನಾರ್ಗಿಸ್ಮ್ ಅಥ್ಲೆಟಿಕ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಥ್ಲೆಟಿಕ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಗಂಟ ಹೋದೆ. ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮೆಡಲ್ ವಿನ್ನರ್. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಅಥ್ಲೆಟಿಕ್ ಕೋಚ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆರ್ಮಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇವಾಗ ಆರ್ಮಿ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥ್ಲೆಟ್ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ನಿಮಗಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಿಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಗೆ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೋದ್ರು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಐಸೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಒಂದ್ ದಿವಸ ನೀವು ಆಗಲ್ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ರಿಫೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೆ ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈಗ ಒಂದ್ ದಿವಸ ನೀವು ಆನ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಮೈಂಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ನೋಡಿ ನಮಗೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಈ ತರ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಗ ಯಾವ ತರ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಾಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೈ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಣ್ಣು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಅಥ್ಲೆಟಿಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಜಂಪಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು 2 ಲೇಡೀಸ್ ರಾಧಾ ಅಂತ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಏಕಲವ್ಯ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಗೌಡ ಅಂತ ಬೇರೆ ಹೈ ಜಂಪರ್, ಅವರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಿಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಅವರು ಒಲಿಂಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಲ್ವರ್ ಮೆಡಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅವರೇ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಧಾ ಸೌಮ್ಯ ಅಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಈಗ ಏಷ್ಯನ್ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮೆಡಲಿಸ್ಟ್. ಹಾಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೇನು ಈ ತರ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಗ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ನ ಹೊರಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಬಹುದು ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಬಹುದು. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅದು ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಿಮ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕಳ್ಸಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅವಾಗ ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ರು ಇವರಿಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಹಾಗೇನಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದ್ರು ಅದು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮೈಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮೆಂಟಲಿ ಫಿಸಿಕಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿನ ಕಷ್ಟಪಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆ ಭಯಂಕರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಫಾದರ್ ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ತರ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ರಿಫೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಹೆಸರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಏನು ನಮಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಅದ್ರ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಹಾಗೆ ಇದ್ದು ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊನೆ ತನಕ. ಆಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಅಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ, ಈಗ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ, ಆಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಗ ಅವರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ನ ಆಗ ಅಚ್ಚಚ್ಚ ಮತ್ತು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಕೋಚ್ಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ನ ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಗ್ಬೋದು. ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಗೆ ಬಹುತ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಲಿ ನೀವೊಂದು ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಂತ ಒಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಗುರ್ತಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಇವ್ರು ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಡಲ್ ವಿನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದರ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಡಲ್ ವಿನ್ನರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ. ಜಾಬಿಗಷ್ಟೇ ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಗಿದ್ರೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಪೂರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಒಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ hello
sir, we're running a bit out of time, so sorry to interrupt, but thank you so much, sir.
बोलिए thank you.
हाँ, थैंक यू सर। आप आपके आज के बिजी शेड्यूल के बीच में हमने आपको इस वेबिनार के लिए इनवाइट
सच में मैडम बहुत मतलब अभी भी मैं ऐसे दौड़ के आया क्या मतलब वो सॉरी आज के दिन में ऐसा हो गया सॉरी। अगर नेक्स्ट टाइम फ्री होने तो मैं सामने आके बात करूंगा क्लियरली। अभी
डेफिनेटली डेफिनेटली
इसका बारे में साहब बोलने जैसा कोई प्रिपेयर ही नहीं करते। मैं अपना नेचुरली ऐसे बोला था क्या
यस
करना कैसे करना इसके बारे में सर मेरे कोचिंग फील्ड में और बहुत कुछ है बोलने के लिए मतलब कम समय अभी बोलना ही पड़ा था एकदम से मेरा
करेक्ट।
को। हाँ तो कल मैं वही कल के इवेंट का अभी का वो कॉन्फ्रेंस खत्म होकर सीधा आ गया लेकिन पूरा एकदम बोल नहीं पाया सॉरी ठीक
नो
से।
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं सर। but आपने जो भी बोला सर बहुत बहुत बड़ा इंफॉर्मेटिव था। और आई थिंक most of us, all of us have understood, and I've understood how much sports is important, how much it can help our children and people with
या
disabilities.
हाँ
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
ओके थैंक यू।
Thank you. Um, so, in order to summarize what our two speakers had mentioned in our webinar, is that how much importance or how much of a significant role sports plays, not just in the life of people who are fit, but much more in the lives of children and people with disabilities, because they have so much of, like Lieutenant Colonel Hemant said, they have so much of fire in them. And if that fire can be channelized by the right person, by the right coach, in the right environment, then I think they would not have any limitations in achieving whatever they want to, not just in sports, but in every arena of their lives and in the lives of people around them. I'm sure we can definitely take a lot of inspiration from our athletes with disabilities, and hope for a day where we have a sport or an event where people with and without disabilities, children with and without disabilities, are all competing together in one forum, in one arena, on the same platform. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel Hemant Raj sir and Subedar Ranjan Cariappa. It was indeed a wonderful session. Unfortunately, Hemant sir had another last minute meeting and he couldn't join us for the rest of the meet. But as we come to an end, I would like to inform you that we will be having a feedback form, which will be given in some time. I request all the participants to kindly fill in the feedback, because on filling the feedback form, we will be providing the certificates. And in case any of you wants to collaborate with us or know more about our event or more about our organization, can definitely search us on our social media platforms. Okay, the feedback form has been put in the chat box. And yes, so like I was saying, you can, I will just share my screen not to show about our social media handles. So you can email us at nanagushale@fourthwayfoundation.org, as well as you can find us on Facebook at Nanagu Shaale page. I once again reminding the participants to kindly fill in the feedback form, which is put in the chat box for your feedback, which will be definitely be valuable for us, so that we can work on the information and the feedback that you've given us and probably work together in the future. I would now like to hand over to Claire.
Hello.
Yes, Claire.
I hope all of you found this webinar rewarding in some way or the other. Limitations live only in our minds. With little creativity and resourcefulness, and with hard work and unending determination, we can overcome any limitation. On behalf of Fourth Way Foundation and the entire team, I extend a very hearty gratitude to Lieutenant Colonel Hemant Raj and Subedar Rajan Cariappa for gracing this webinar with their knowledge and expertise. I thank each one of you for being an active participant and making this forum lively. Last but not least, I would like to thank my team for all the support in order to make this webinar a success. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining with us on a Monday evening. I hope you have received insights, probably would have got your doubts cleared, or probably this would have got you thinking on what we as individuals can do for the children and people with disabilities that we encounter. I am sure there are a lot of us over here who are social work students. There are a lot of us over here who are professors in various fields. There are a lot of us who are people who work in different organizations, who work with people with disabilities, who work with children with disabilities. And at this forum and on this platform, I'm sure all of you have got got what you've needed and probably have got you thinking. Once again, reminding before you leave to kindly fill the feedback form, which has been put in the chat box. You will be receiving your certificates on completion of the feedback form. Thank you so much.
For any queries or doubts, you can reach out to us through our mails or Facebook or any social media handle. You can write to us. Akshita and I have written to almost all of you. You can reach out to us also, as well.